All right, welcome back, everybody. We want to welcome on our guest today. We have the wonderful John Kriesel joining us today. You may know him from KFAN Radio 100.3. You may have heard him on there, but he's also an author. He was a politician. He's a veteran. We also, before we really get into anything here, we want to thank you so much for your service and serving our country. We really appreciate it. And
thank you.
Thank you so much for making the ultimate sacrifice. But again, John, thank you so much for coming on with us. How are you doing today?
Awesome.
Yeah, sweet.
I'm in 2 fantasy football championship games going against the Bills defense, and it's basically locked up because if the Bills defense scores less than 30, which is unheard of for a defense to score close to 30, then I win in both. So I'm dialed in. About to
on the
bring
reverse,
home the Lexington Steel Trophy.
I was going to say on the reverse side of the spectrum, I'm in a championship too, and I had Houston's defense, and they had -9 points. It's one thing to get 0 points as a fucking defense, but when it's negative, that's when it starts to hurt you.
I'm kind of supportive of defense and kickers kind of being not part of the equation because it is a roll of the dice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it is what it is. I'll take it, and it's worked in my favor so far. So
were those the only 2 leagues you joined? Because some people will join like 6 or 7 leagues.
I was in 4 plus I was in a guillotine league with Charge and some other people.
Yeah. Well, it is championship season, folks.
Or consolation
17.
Season.
Yeah.
For me.
For most of us, it's consolation.
You're trying to win your
season.
money back, get 3rd place.
Yeah, I didn't do good.
John, you I think you follow Bubba on Twitter, right? He was your main point of contact, which is a little terrifying for us. He's not the most reliable person, so I'm glad we made this work. Did you ever tune into the eating challenges? Is that how you?
I have a couple times, yeah.
Oh, what's your honest thought about that?
Oh, I get hard watching him eat.
Yeah.
No, it's
oh, you would love when he's.
So the eating thing, I never really paid much attention to it until when I got married to my current wife. My father-in-law is the best. He's one of my closest friends. We go to Coronado Island every 4th. That's the tradition. And when I went the first year, I'm still getting to know him a little bit, trying to figure out things and be on his good side. And I find out his jam is on the 4th of July morning is watching that Nathan's hot dog eating contest.
Yeah.
And just fired up. And especially because of the introductions. George O'Shea is the best. And so I've since become very, very much a fan of it.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what turned me onto it. And then I see old Bubba, he doesn't mess around.
Well, I was going to say too, we went up to Albertville to do like the 10-pound or what? How many pounds was that pizza?
Oh, it was like, what was it, 10 pounds or what was
it?
It
was the monstrosity. It was this massive pizza. And there were like 10 random people from Albertville who showed up to watch. We were like the thing happening. And Bubba he's kind of humbled. He just kind of like puts his head down and goes on his phone, and but then he just shows up and he eats. You know, he's a true champion.
Well, the thing that cracked me up about, speaking of kind of humble, were the Nathan's hot dog contest this year beforehand, and it's not funny, but it's funny. They're talking about the lead up to it and whatever, and obviously things were different with COVID, so they couldn't have the outdoor one with the big crowd. But they're talking about this female competitive eater that passed away, and they're talking a little bit about her life, and they go to the one guy, and he goes, "She was such a good eater," and it just was such. We both laughed.
Can't help but laugh.
That's such a random thing to be. And my wife has since said that that's what she wants said about her at her funeral. but it's interesting to me. Before I put the kid to bed and stuff, we made tacos, and I made 2 good sized tacos. And the minute I finished the first one, I was like, this second one was stupid. Why did I do that? I'm satisfied. I don't like being really full. So guys like Bubba, he's a machine. So that pizza, you said how many pounds was it?
I think it was 10.
It was a lot,
And he
man.
finished it.
We did it in like 47 minutes. JJ and I, we actually followed like a professional eating training program. Like we used like some of Chestnut's techniques to, like expand our stomachs, and we didn't eat for basically 24 hours. We just drank water and
Yeah, like ate really light because like he could bring on, I think it was up to 3 people could help him out eat this pizza because it was a lot of pizza, but he still ate a majority of it. So yeah, the training into it was crazy. Like you don't want to starve yourself, but you want to like just drink water and like eat yogurt stuff really light.
Yeah.
To keep your stomach expanded.
Yeah, there's science behind it that I didn't understand, but I would just follow the rules.
That's what amazes me about Bubba too, because like the day of his eating challenges, he will go and he will eat 10 White Castle sliders
just to
before
warm
the
up.
event. Yeah, just to warm up. It's ridiculous, and the kid still goes and destroys a plate of pizza.
The first ever challenge, he was at my apartment. He ate like 100 pizza rolls in one sitting.
As I've just stated, I'm far from a competitive eater. I think I easily could eat 50.
Yeah.
I just love those things. And to me, I think that's a lot. Now, you guys train. What can you guys eat for a pizza roll? Could you eat 75?
I don't know about pizza rolls.
I guess I can't talk about the game if I've never played it. I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Because Bubba was close to 120. He got to 116. What was it? And then he just barfed it all
Then
up.
he vomited every last pizza roll.
But
he
had 10.
Right?
No,
we failed him.
And I may have been running a low key illegal casino. We're not going to get into that. There were a lot of people who lost money because he couldn't eat those last 4 pizza rolls. He had like 10 minutes left, and he tried to just shove them all in at one time. And I mean, it's the crucial mistakes in the fourth quarter that hurt him.
So he basically did the Deshaun Jackson football over the shoulder before he crossed the goal line.
Exactly.
He was just 4 away. 4 away.
T.O. Same story. Yeah.
Yep. Tried shoving them all in his mouth and it didn't work. But another thing about him too is he'll do like a fasting where you won't eat shit for like a day. And I was like, and then he'll be too hungry. And then like before the hot dog challenge, he ate like 8 hot dogs. It's like, dude, he's like, I'm hungry. Well, that's the point though. Don't you want to wait
there's
a little bit?
There's a pile of them sitting there. He's like, just fucking give me one. Just like.
So you're all competitive eaters?
No.
Just helped him out once for one challenge.
We helped him out once.
He's the guy who eats. We're the guys who sit behind the camera.
Yeah.
I wonder about the bowel movements the next day.
Yep,
We've had the pleasure of driving home with him after some of his eating challenges, and he doesn't say a word. He sits there, he looks depressed, he's on his phone, he just keeps saying, the next couple of days are going to be hell, just over and over and over again. But he definitely is affected by it.
Yeah, it's bad.
Loud rips.
Yeah.
Yes, to say the least.
Oh yeah, you could honestly have like a biology class or an anatomy class study him after he consumes the amount of calories that a family of 4 should consume in like 2 days. He'll eat in one sitting. Yeah, I mean it's a miracle to say the least.
Yeah, he's an interesting specimen, I should say. But speaking of someone like Bubba, I mean, he claims to be a guy that gets a lot of slander here at 10,000 Takes. But obviously, you're a K-Fan contributor. A guy that gets a lot of slander that you probably work with is a guy like Meat Sauce. I mean, but does he deserve the slander that he gets? Like, he has this bad reputation. Does he deserve to get shit on, essentially?
He gets paid well to be shit on.
Bubba doesn't get paid anything.
Yeah.
So that's a good point.
And the thing about it, it's the situation where you give your friend shit, right? But your friend, no one else better rip on your friends, or you jump in. That's kind of how it is with Paul, and he takes it well. It's part of the deal, and he definitely, I would say, everybody on that show, and part of the reason I enjoy being on it, we're family. We are very close friends off air. And that's why it works so well on air, like you guys.
Yeah,
it's
same
friends
story.
Sitting around shooting the shit. Everybody off air is the same on air, except they cuss more. Paul is the only one that's a little different because obviously he's not stupid.
No, he's a very smart guy. You listen to him play the initials game. It's like a different person.
So it's that's the perfect example right there with the initials game. It shows he's a smart guy. But that's his role on the show is to get ripped on, and it works. And you see, and I know him real well. I know his buttons, and I'll kind of push those, and it just sends them in a tailspin. And so we'll do that sometimes. I'm usually the one that'll be sticking up for them on Fridays and prevent them from getting ripped on. But occasionally, like our Vegas trip, when he was going to bed every day at 4, I was like, "You're gonna pay a fucking price for this one on air."
Why was he going to bed at 4?
Tired, I guess. I don't know.
4 p.m. in Vegas.
Is he like a late night gambler? Is it?
No.
It's just the drinking aspect.
He's a morning guy. I mean, we give him shit, but he wakes up at 3 on weekdays for work, and so his schedule's a little screwed up.
Yeah.
But I think it was just part of it was he had been running at full speed for a long time, and all of a sudden we go on this trip, and then you got to be in the right mindset, and there wasn't our normal group. So it's less noticeable with our normal group because there will be between 15 and 20 of us when we got Tommy Olson and his brother and their other college football teammate, and then we've got a few of Sauce's high school friends, a couple of my Army buddies. So we have a big group. Well, then if someone sneaks off to go take a nap or what, it's not noticeable. When there was only 5 of us this year, it was very noticeable. And so we let them know about it. So me and Dom and Tim just made fun of him the whole time, took photos with an empty chair, just...
Yeah.
You've been on the Notorious Initials game, obviously, on the Power Trip Morning Show. How, when you're actually playing the game and everyone's listening to you, how difficult is that game actually?
It's much more difficult than obviously sitting in the kitchen or driving to work.
Yeah.
Your mind works a little different because you see what's going on around you. You're writing down notes. There's just more. It's different. Like I think it would be like playing football or playing a sport at a park with no fans or at COVID time, and then all of a sudden you do it here. And normally there's people in studio and it's full.
Yeah.
With COVID, there's not, but it's still, it's just different. And it's not, so it's more difficult. I don't feel like I clam up during it, but your mind just works a little different. You have to make more effort to keep sharp. And I think my strategy once I changed that, I actually won a couple times, was to say, and if you wait until you're 100% positive about the answer, someone else is probably going to get it.
Yeah.
So if you got to be like, I feel good about it, that's good enough. Let it rip.
Yep.
Yeah, it sounds like it just gets heated. Some of I listen to, like when it's coming down to like the points are close, like it just sounds like the intensity is just super high in the studio.
You can feel it in the air, and you're listening to it in your car.
Like this is competitive. This is more than just a little game on a radio show. Like this is for everything right now. I mean, it's for bragging rights, whatever. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's good that it's at the very end of the show, because not me, but a couple of the people on there, it's competitive to the point that there needs to be like a half hour, 45-minute cool down.
Yeah.
And I get that. And I think my biggest, it would have been 3 wins in a row for me, was the one before Vegas trip last year. Shot glass. I took an early swing and miss on something, and then AJ gets shot glass.
Yeah.
And I would have won. All I had to do was wait, but I was extra stupid about it. I was pretty sure that what I was going to say was not the answer, but I was fired up. I was about to go to the airport and just wasn't thinking right.
Yeah.
And it cost me.
Yep. So well, just like Bubba, just like it costed Bubba eating those 4 pizza rolls at the last second. You know, you got to think it out.
Same thing.
Yeah.
I was pissed until I got through airport security, got into the airport lounge, had my 3rd cocktail.
Yeah.
All right, I'm good.
Yeah.
Only took 3.
Yeah.
Only took 3.
John, you were pretty involved in politics for a number of years. Be honest with me. Did you ever use the phrase, "It's just politics"?
That's politics, bitch!
You ever seen that episode of It's Always Sunny when they're just screwing each other over and they just say, "It's just
haven't
politics.
seen-
It's politics,
It's just
man.
politics, baby." Is that like you ever use that phrase?
I haven't seen that episode. I haven't really seen any episodes of It's Sunny. I've seen portions.
Yeah.
I have used that because
All right. Yeah.
I think we'd say it's all in the game.
Yeah.
Because there are certain things that from the outside you look at, and the stadium issue was one. I learned more about how government works when I carried that stadium bill than I did my entire other term and a half, because you see certain things, and it taught me the best about not taking shit personal, that it's a business, and politics it's a serious thing because it affects people. So I don't want to use the term game, but there is sport to it, and I enjoyed the strategy aspect of it, without, obviously, when it's not affecting people's livelihoods and whatnot. But yes, we'd say it's all in the game, because there's times where I'd be sitting there, something not involving me, I already decided, yes, I'm voting yes on this budget bill, and I'm sitting there responding to email from constituents on the House floor, and all of a sudden I'm getting ripped on by someone on the other side of the aisle. They're talking about, this bill has this in it, Representative Kriesel has this many businesses in that district that will be negatively impacted. They know all that stuff, and at first I'm like, motherfucker. but then you take a second and you're like, we do the same thing to them. The gotcha, so you can send mail out to everyone in the district and say they voted for this, or they vote. It is part of the game.
Yeah, and you're like, it's just politics, baby.
Just politics.
That's politics, bitch.
It was fun. I enjoyed it.
Well, what was the best thing and the worst thing about being a politician in your eyes?
The best thing is, and it's tough to pick just one best thing, but having a say in the matter was great. And not because it's like, oh, I'm in charge, because you're not. I learned quickly once I was elected that I wasn't just representing the 52% of the people that voted for me. I was representing the 48% of the voters who voted for my opponent, and the other group that didn't even vote.
Yeah.
And so I learned every day, and I had an open door policy. People would come in and say, this issue is important to me. And it was shit I had never heard about, never understood. Yeah. And you learn that is the most important thing in that person, in their world right now. And so I need to learn about it. And you learn about it, and you understand how it impacts them. And you do that all day, every day. You learn so much about so many things and so many people. And I learned, most importantly, that instead of sitting in my living room and being like to the TV, oh yeah, this is fuck yeah and fuck no, based on what was best for my family, I was representing what was best for my district and for the state. And so it makes you think differently in a bigger picture. And it made me, I mean, I'm a Republican. I was the first Republican to ever win an election in this district ever.
Oh my God.
And so, but that was because I think of myself as a reasonable guy that doesn't always vote one way, doesn't always vote the other. I listen and I make a decision. And while a lot of times the opposition didn't, and not even the opposition, my friends on the other side of the aisle, maybe I didn't agree with them, but once I listened to them, I understood where they're coming from.
Yeah.
And that's important, especially nowadays when it's easy on social media to be like, oh, you supported this? Well, fuck you. You're an asshole. Or
Yeah. Oh, and Twitter's the worst for that. It's just, no one ever sees the other person's perspective. It's just fuck you, fuck you. It's just kind of how it goes.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you disagree with me slightly? Fuck you. That's literally what politics are today.
Unfriend.
And you know why?
What?
You know why? There are too many people that are intellectually lazy. And the same reason people retweet stuff without reading the article is that it is so easy to look at it and go, oh, you disagree with me? You're a racist. Or you're an asshole. Or you think bars and restaurants should open? You want my grandparents to die. Because guess what? None of us are that.
Yeah.
No, but you hear that and you go, I'm not getting into this conversation because I don't want to be called that shit.
Yep.
Those are like the silver bullet of anything right there. So you just go, I'm not going to argue with you, and then guess what? They win.
Yeah.
And they think they won. They didn't actually, and that is the biggest problem today. And in politics, I learned if you feel something, you stand up and you say it, and you have facts behind it, and you speak your mind, and then you sit down, and the next person gets to talk. Everybody gets to talk that wants to talk, and then we vote. That's the way Twitter isn't like that. Facebook isn't like that.
Yeah, if only we could all just sit down when we're done, but Twitter just doesn't work like that.
No.
Our
24/7.
And I mean that's kind of like a rule we have here with our content. We try to stay out of politics.
Yeah.
Except for one time I did an impersonation of Tucker Carlson talking about asking if the Patriots are tanking.
The biggest question in NFL news today, are the Patriots tanking? Well, let's look at the facts. The Patriots are 2-4. They're on a 3-game losing streak. Cam Newton is statistically the 6th worst quarterback in the NFL, which is one of the worst we've seen in the entire Belichick era.
That was funny. That was a one-time thing.
It's funny. It's good imitation. It's good comedy. It's good humor. But
Yeah.
John, I know you're out of it now, but do you ever think about throwing your hat in the ring again and going back into politics, or are you done?
Yeah. Yep. I keep my mind open because I feel like I was good at it, and I like I said, I learned a lot, and now at my age, and at a completely different point in my life, I think I have more to offer. But the problem is now, whereas before I had 2 stepsons in my first marriage, and they wanted me to coach their teams and all, and so I did. So I got out of politics and I did all that. That marriage is over, and they're grown up. They're over 18 and stuff. So now I have a 16-month-old. So I've started over.
Yeah.
And I want to spend time with her and watch her grow up and stuff. So that part of it is if I feel like my life right now is perfect. And so why mess it up? But I'd be lying in the current situation. If I threw my hat in the ring, though, it wouldn't be anything less than governor. I don't think I would run for state rep or state senate.
I was gonna say you had a golden line around that. I think shout out Dave Grand, Power Trip Quotes. He said Meat Sauce said to you should run for governor, and you were like, I can't run.
I can't run.
One liner, mic drop.
It's gonna lose though. It's in the top 4, but it's gonna go down.
Is it? You made the final 4? Nice. Shout out. And you're not even on the show every day, so
that's
right.
Oh yeah.
Less quantity, more quality for John Kriesel on Power Trip.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, John, all of us here are avid golfers. You obviously have had the pleasure of scoring a hole-in-one. What's that? Can you please explain the feeling to us? Because none of us have ever had that feeling.
What goes into that?
What club did you hit?
Well, I got called a pussy online because it was a 5-iron at 153 yards, and people.
Hey, whatever gets it done. Dude.
So I'm a member at TPC Twin Cities, so it was on the 17th hole there, the picturesque water to the left.
Yep.
Cavaners Cove, right? I love it.
Yeah, that's a great hole.
Up to it, I think my second favorite hole is 15, where it makes the curve around it.
Other side of the pond, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the hole. Really quick, that's just the hole that does the 2-for-1s during the 3M. If someone gets a birdie, they do 2-for-1 beers on that hole. That's why I know. I literally sat at that hole for hours, so I know exactly what it looks like.
Our listeners need. Right
exactly,
there.
2-for-1s, 3M. But yeah, so you hit a 5 from 150 and you jarred it on. Where was the pin at?
Back right, and the ball hit the front of the green and ran like an open sore. So I think it was 4. I stuck it about 3 or 4 feet, about 4 feet from the hole, on that par 3. 2 putted. So I was pissed. I'm like, oh my God. And then, so I thought that's as close as I'm getting ever. And this is in the same round. So when I got to 17, I hit, and it was rolling, and I was walking to the cart to get my mind right and go, okay, I'm going to birdie this hole. Mm-hmm. And I saw it was headed in a decent direction, and I putt decent.
Yeah.
And that's not a difficult green. So I was like, all right, get your mind right. And my guys I was golfing with, 3 neighbors, all of a sudden start freaking out. And not like oh my God, it went in. But Luke goes, I lost it. I can't. I don't see it anymore.
Disappeared.
He
Yeah,
said
just
it's
gone.
gone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fucking A, it rolled off the back of the green then.
Yeah.
So now I've got to work to get Well, then Kevin, who's a more calm guy, my next door neighbor, he's looking through his rangefinder. He goes, yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it. And then Luke looks at me, he goes, you got a hole in one. And I'm like, calm your tits. And he goes, I'm going to drive up there and videotape you walking up to the hole. And I'm going, this is great because my fucking Army buddies are going to love this. Video of me walking up to the hole, looking in there, and nothing's in there. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm thinking all this. I'm like, whatever. I start to get butterflies when Kevin just kind of gave like a nod. I was like, oh boy. So we drive up there. I start walking up there. And I'm in the video. I'm like crossing my fingers as I'm walking, all just gimpy. And I walk up there. And I see the Callaway logo facing right at me, and I'm like, "Oh,
nice." Yeah, well,
yeah, it was. And then we go to the next hole. I rip a nice drive, and and then my neighbor hits one, and they hit obviously much further than me. I don't have legs, so I don't have.
Drive for show, putt for dough. You don't even have to putt on 17.
So we drive, and that's the final one's the par 5 18 that curves around, and we just drive past my ball. Because I'm going to his. He goes, your ball's back there. And I've just completely forgot that I'm still playing golf. Like yeah, then we get up to the front to drop off the cart and everything. We tell them, they go out and get the flag and brought out a bottle of champagne in the clubhouse. If you get a hole in one, TPC Twin Cities is the spot.
Yeah. Did you have to buy drinks for everyone that day, or no?
I didn't. No, I went. I mean, I thought that was the deal, and then they were like, "No, we got your bottle of champagne in your round," and so
that's awesome.
Well, and
it would have been a couple grand. That clubhouse was full, and families were in there eating dinners. It was
That'd been a lot.
It's funny that because there's so many times where I've hit it off the back of the green or something, like it disappears on the green, and like I always walk up to the hole and check it, and it's empty. I'm like, damn it,
damn it, come on,
always gotta look there.
Once. I feel like if I ever get a hole in one, I just gotta stop golfing.
Yeah, how many tries do you think it would take you? You get as many range balls as you want.
Oh gosh.
Do you think you do it in one day?
He has to hit the ball straight first, and we'll work that out first, and then we'll get to that.
Oh, if it's a drive,
chances are 1 in 12,000.
That's what it is. Those are the odds. Oh my god,
it's higher for me.
I would have thought it was more than that, but
doubled for you.
We know you're a big Vikings guy, so everybody here thinks I do a great Kirk impression.
You kind of look like Kirk.
That's what everybody says.
PA said it. That was what started it.
That's what everybody says. But it's like every week I try to entertain the Vikings folks by doing hey guys, Kirk Cousins here. Just trying to do what I can to, make Julie happy at home and keep going, guys. And
couple beers.
Skull Vikings have a couple beers after this season. Jeez. Yeah. Skull Vikings.
Could you rate that impression on a scale of 1 to 10?
That's I think that's a good 8.5, and I think you were playing it up. Obviously,
oh yes,
yeah. That's got to be a 9, I think.
Oh, wow. There we go.
Right. There we go. We gotta ask Kirk that at one point or the other if we ever talked to him.
We've had him in studio. You got to talk some Star Wars, and I think he was talking.
He's a Star Wars guy.
He was
fuck yeah! I can talk that for hours.
I can't remember. He was talking some real. He played into the dorky thing.
Yeah.
Off air, he was like between commercials. Great guy, super nice guy.
Awesome.
But, he's a dork.
All right, thanks, John, for coming on. We're going to step aside for a quick break. Coming up next is fan questions. We'll be right back.
Aware that Kevin Durant has been seen selling seashells down by the seashore?
What?
Calm down. It's just a question, man.
That's what you want to hear? Yes. Come on, man. You've been doing this long enough.
Actually, it's my first day. Like, I